back there.
I read to children.
All of her fun prompts. And why Mona's doing that and why we're waiting for Jessica to come in, I'm going to start this.
Did you guys watch the South Park episode?
I sure did. I love it. The pandemic. Yes, it was so funny. I was surprised that it actually wasn't as, I don't know, vulgar or what, usually the other ones are.
So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. So you didn't think him.
It was, I was
two animals was vulgar?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be downright dirty and like, I don't know, more. I don't know. I don't know. I guess we always want more comedy, more of a dirty language, more.
I don't know. I thought
it was hilarious.
Two animals did it for me, but hey, what can I say?
No, it was good. I loved it.
Oh, cool. Totally, it had the 7th. Let me see. It had the highest rating it's had in 7 years, and it had a higher rating the second time it was shown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they really worked hard on that, I got to tell you.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. I was just like, I guess I was wanting more and more and more. It's like,
well, keep your fingers crossed, because hopefully there will be another one in November.
Oh, really? Okay, good. I watch the marathons all the time. Like I've been watching South Park since it started. So that's one of my favorites.
I don't think so. You would have been too young. If that's true, I'm going to talk to your parents.
Oh, well, maybe I'll be. Well, I've been watching it for quite some time. It's good. Really
it's really, I'm always amazed. And, they had to do it very differently this time because they couldn't go into the studio. Normally, it's all done in a week. And so everybody's there and, Trey can just go around and things are changed. And, because everything is changed up until the last, I kid you not, the last few hours before it's aired. So, so we recorded, came into our homes and they set up all of our equipment and it's all their stuff. They control it all. And all I have to do is when I get my call, go up to the mic and record my lines. And they send the lines via email. So, but all the animators, that is all done remotely. So I think what Trey must have done is he must have monitors and I guess the producers, figuring out all of that must have been a freaking nightmare. But
Jessica,
they did it.
You joined us at the right time, Jessica.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, everyone. Mona, I've been waiting to talk to you since our last conversation. I felt so bad that everything got cut off so quickly, so I'm so excited to see you again. How are you?
Wait a second. Let me see if I can do this. Oh, I know how to do this, maybe.
Jessica, I reminded her about that too.
Let me see if I know how to do this. That's good. That's very good.
I had to get a picture too.
All right. So everyone, movie reviews and more, Brian Sebastian. So out of Houston, Texas, we have Trixie Gynn.
Hi, Trixie Gynn. Nice to meet you too, finally. I've never officially seen you in person, so hello.
Oh, hello, Jessica. I've seen your pictures.
And out of Tennessee is none other than Miss Buttercup. And
Miss Buttercup. Did you win the Miss Buttercup? You could have. You're both great enough to be in pageants.
Yeah, he made that one up. I do have a pretty ridiculous few titles, but Buttercup is not one of them. That is a Brian Sebastian special. So thanks much for that.
I like that. Queen of
the one and only Mona Marshall. Mona, what voice are you today if you're in your mind right now? What's your one voice you have today?
Well, I was kind of working with this voice because I have no idea why, but it makes me feel as though I am being thoughtful and a little bit pondersome. Pondersome, is that a word? I don't know, but it makes me feel very thoughtful, and I think this is a time to be thoughtful. And there was also another. There was also this voice because I really, really think that it is important for all of us at this time to pull together and to be in harmony in the very best way we can. Would you not agree, my dears?
I
don't know. I have fun talking to myself, I will tell you that. and making up voices, like for instance. Is my favorite guy. You know, I was a puppeteer for 10 plus years.
Yay, puppets! I love puppets.
Well, hey there. I am Bartholomew the Crow. Ooh, nice looking ladies. You're cute too, Brian. Whoa. So what's happening there?
Well, Bartholomew, thank you so much. I appreciate the compliment. You're pretty handsome yourself. Thank you for
Oh my
joining
goodness,
us.
thank you. And Mona hasn't even had a chance to do my hair today. Shame on you.
It's the tousled look. It works. It works for you.
Oh, thanks. I'm kind of a cool dude. Cool.
You are.
When I read to the kids on Saturdays, I have him talk to them first.
Nice.
Yes.
What have
Crows
you,
are nice.
what have you been
Crows are very
seeing
smart.
since the voiceover world has changed, but voiceovers has always been set up to be like this. But you're seeing changes you were starting to talk about. What are they?
Changes in voiceover?
Yeah.
You mean changes because of the pandemic? Or
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you that one of the biggest changes that is unfortunate. It's an unfortunate change, and I understand. As they are beginning to use more and more stars, it used to be if you did an ensemble original animation, you were all in the same room. And that's wonderful because you could play off of each other, really play off of each other. Unfortunately, because it's so difficult to get everybody's schedules to work, they don't do that anymore. And I think that's kind of a loss. You know, I miss that. As a trained actor, I miss that very much. But, you know, it is the way it is. So that's one of the not so good changes. The great change is that, you know, there are so many more venues, and that's what we're banking on. We just finished, and I just, it's already been the Bible for it has been copyrighted. But the script that we want to use to pitch The Adventures of Puss in Dick, A Survivor's Guide to Relationships. I just registered it with the Writers Guild, and I'm trying to set up an appointment via Zoom with my agents and my two partners to see about how we can get in to pitch it and sell it and get it on the air, because it's really fabulous. So
congratulations.
Well,
Exactly.
thank you. You know, the next thing is get it in front of people so we can pitch it. But it's really a brilliant idea, if I do say so myself. My two writing partners are wonderful. One is a film script writer, and the other one is a guy I've known because I've done South Park for 20 plus years, Mark Munley, who has been the script supervisor and just became one of the producers for South Park. And we just all really write well together. And so finally we all said, okay, this is it. We've got it. This is where we want it. And so I sent it off to my agent, who's a voiceover agent. And of course, if she were a writer's agent, it would be a little easier to get it to, say, Netflix or Amazon. So we're going to put our heads together. I would love to be able to get it to Sarah Silverman's people, because I think that's something, I think she could produce it and probably do one of the voices if she wanted to, and she'd be dynamite, and that could open the door for us. So, you know, we'll see. But it's very strong. Well, it's about communication and the idea that, you know, all of us have masculine and feminine aspects to us, which is why our characters are penises and vaginas. And usually we are sporting one of those, even if our insides don't quite agree with our outsides. So it's really about communication on all different levels. And it's fun. And, you know, penises and vaginas, you know, running a town, it's got to be funny.
Sounds like Hollywood, right?
Pretty much, yeah. And a lot of it actually is based on you know, the dynamics of my own marriage. We've been married 34 years, and you know, you learn a lot when you're with a partner that long. A lot about how not to kill each other and how to listen, and how much easier it is not to go with that instinct of strangling somebody, but to take a moment. And we have an androgynous angel named Venmar, who represents intuitive thought when we get out of our own way. And we have an amorphous little green creature called Drek, who is the voice of fear, whispers in your ear. Oh, you can't do that. You're really not that talented, are you?
How dare you think about changing your look? Stay the way you are.
You know, it's funny, and we all have that voice too.
Yes, that's the point. And I thought naming him Drek, it's an it. Naming it Drek was brilliant because Drek in Yiddish means, anybody want to guess?
Fear. Oh.
It means mad. It means mad.
You know, Mona, Trixie and I, earlier, we were talking to one of our other friends on another podcast, and we were talking about anime, and I immediately thought about you, and I said, why don't you come on later? Because we have to talk. We have to do part 2 with Mona because we didn't finish it. We got cut off.
Oh, I love anime. I love doing
Back
anime.
to what you've done on the anime side of things. Can you talk about that?
Oh my God. You know, one of my favorite things I did is a show called Wolf's Rain, where I played the youngest of a group of young men and boys. I was a boy, and we turned into wolves. And it was a very thoughtful series and a very dramatic series. And the reason I brought that up is because I did a signing through Streamily, you know, where you sign your autographs live. I'm going to be doing that again this coming Saturday through Streamily at 1 o'clock Pacific time. And somebody asked for, I have sheets that, let me see what my sheets are.
Excuse me for just a moment, would you? Because I'm so not. See.
Well, I mean, take your time.
Look at the room. The room is very lovely.
Yes,
So
actually, Mona, on that note, your room itself, one of my friends who had seen our previous interview with you, they loved your back, like immediately. They're like, I love her. Everything in her room. It's so amazing. There's so much character and it's so many stories. I feel like there's probably 100 stories that you could tell just from those things behind you. So side note, okay, back to your thing.
This is my some of my own artwork.
Wow.
But Life as a Celebration really, let me just finish the thought. Okay, so these are the things. So if you see, there's anime characters here and there's South Park characters here. So anyway, but somebody had asked me for to sign something, you know, to sign something and talk to them as Towboy in Wolf's Rain. But let me just tell you about Life as a Celebration because it's real important. And I don't know if I said this to you before or not. I studied drama. I came out here to study and get a master's in drama. I went to school and I went to college and got my first degree is in English literature, and that was in Warrensburg, Missouri. One of the teachers there, when I was going to go for my master's there, he said, no, go to LA. There's a great school there. LACC, they have a great theater arts program, and indeed they do. And so I went there, and one of my teachers was a man named Bob Board. And every Friday we would have to get up and do a monologue using all of our voice placements. You know, I teach voice production because I think if you know how to use your voice, it doesn't matter whether you do voiceover or acting, you can use that for the rest of your life. And that was really an important basic for me. And so, so we would have to get up and use those parts believably, which was a wonderful lesson in acting and in voice control. But one day he asked us, he said, okay, what do these 3 things have in common? The act of intercourse, of 2 beings coming together, communion, because that's the spirit, right? Spirit coming together with us, and performing. What do those 3 things have in common? And we were all flummoxed, you know, here we were 18 to 21-year-olds going, well, that makes no sense to me at all. So we all thought nobody could come up with the answer. And then he said it. He said, they're all the celebration of the spirit of life. They're a celebration of life. And if you think about that, you know, when you come together as 2 beings and you make love, when you come together with the idea of the spirit, and when you come together getting your ego out of the way, reaching out to your audience, that too is a celebration of life. And that has been with me all of my career. And it made a major difference because instead of thinking about what's the audience going to think, that never happens. what happens is, how can I make this character come to life as a gift? And that has been, that's a lesson that, you can't buy that lesson. Although I did pay for my courses, but you know what I'm saying? Those are one of those little nuggets. But getting back to anime, I love doing Izzy. The computer wizard, I just love him because it's a great fun placement. I came up with that placement because he had to do a lot of exposition. And if you do this, it really makes you clip and get your consonants out quickly.
Enunciate, yes.
Enunciate. Diction is very important.
So anyway, I love doing anime. I especially love the really good anime has so many levels and there's so much spirit involved, and they look at things a little bit differently, like even their concepts of what a demon is. So I like doing anime a lot. Did I answer any of those questions for you? Sebastian, you look frozen. Or Brian, you look frozen.
I'm not frozen.
Like Sebastian, though. I may ought to switch your name. Sebastian. I'm going to call you for Sebastian. You kind of look like a Sebastian.
You can call me that. No, you're making me think of going back to my workshops when I took it from Dave Sebastian Williams. A lot of the things because I don't get a chance to do that, and I miss voiceovers, And I couldn't do it because I was the warm and friendly guy next door. Because I didn't sound black, so they never knew I was, which was great, obviously, because it doesn't matter, as you know. But I couldn't do characters because that was just not my forte. So I always admire people.
Oh, I don't know if that's true.
I know.
You want me to help you create a character right now?
Okay. Yay! Yes, I'm on board. I'm on board with this. Yes.
The first character, the first placement I always talk. First of all, there's 5 placements. There's nasal.
Oh my God, you look so fabulous.
But there's a lot of things you can do with that nasality. Then there's adenoidal. So that placement is when you put the air into your jaw. So if any of you remember Jimmy Stewart, key I get to him to using that voices. Well, it's just so exciting to be here. But you can also do all kinds of things by not using it. So that's another placement. Then you've got guttural. And guttural is just having texture. So you are pushing that air ever so gently over the vocal folds. And this is aspirate. Okay. And then you take the lowest pitch you are comfortable speaking on. So right here would be for me. And I lift my palate and suddenly I have my Oriton voice, which is the voice that has the most resonance. So now, character. I'm going to show you how you can do a character. Shall we start with nasal? Let's hear a nasal from everybody. Say your name
using this. I want to hear your name, please, Brian.
Brian Sebastian.
Okay, now Brian. Keep that. That's good. Okay, Trixie, you got a little nasal, honey?
Yes, I'm Trixe Gynn.
Good. And I
hear there is a little girl.
It's
interesting because I hear a little girl.
I hear a bit of a nerd with you, which is good, Brian.
Yes.
Okay.
And Jessica, how about you? I do that all the time with my animals. I always
wait, because I'm going to come back to I'm coming back to all of you.
Oh.
So, but I just want to make sure you all have placement because it would not be fair to only work with one of you instead of all of you. Jessica, let me hear a nasal from you.
Hi, my name is Jessica.
Perfect, honey. And now, take that voice. For you, I hear somebody who's just like full of themselves and really likes fashion. You like fashion. I hear it kind of a little girl. So what were you going to say before I interrupted you, sweetie? What were you going to say, Trixie?
Oh, I talk to my animals in a baby voice, kind of like this, and just kind of, hey, baby, what are you doing? And so I do this pretty much on the daily. And so I always talk like I don't know if it's baby voice or I don't know what you would call it.
Let me tell you what I hear.
When you smile, you lift your palate. Okay, look, if this is a side view of your voice, okay? So if you're doing nasal, you're pushing that air up toward the nose. If you do an oral, you're pushing, can you actually see what I'm doing? The air comes down into the jaw. And of course you do mixtures of all of those. All right. So what I would like you to do, because you kind of have yours nailed. Okay, Jessica. Trixie,
I want you to do that, but I want you to think about who you are. Now, this is the part where you use mind magic. That's the part where you really become the character. So figure out who you are.
You already know who you are. So take a moment. Now I'm going to work with you, Brian. So let me hear that nasal on you again.
Hi, this is Brian Sebastian.
Now, I will tell you what your biggest problem is, Brian, right now. You're thinking of yourself. You're too self.
Oh yeah, that's right. True.
Okay. So I want you to try and not do that. I want you to instead picture yourself as, and I don't know how you were, I was always an outsider. You know, the only thing I had going for me was my voice. They liked the way my fellow students at University City High liked the way I sang. That was, you know, but I was a fat kind of awkward child or teenager. So yeah. So, but I want you to figure out, this is a nice nerd. Okay. This is a nice nerd guy. So who are you? What occupation might a nerd go into?
A dentist.
All right. So you're working on somebody's teeth and they're scared. They're really scared. This is, by the way, where improvisation comes in really handy. I always tell people who are studying voiceover, do improv, get into a good improv class, which is interesting when you're doing it on Zoom. Okay. So now you have to get your ego out of the way, your self-consciousness out of the way, and focus on your patient. And you're talking to your patient and you're trying to calm him down. So you think about that for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to start with you, Jessica. Just in a few moments, just improvise her a little bit, so we kind of get to know who she is. And you can introduce her, and that'll help.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Rita. I've been working in fashion for about 15 years now, and I tell you what, I cannot stand it when people wear these tiered dresses. They think it's all cool and flowy and summery. No, you look like you're wearing a muumuu, okay? So put it in the garbage, put something else on, because I can't take it anymore. I can't look at you anymore, okay?
Good. So she's a nice Jewish girl, darling. I like that. That's good.
Really good.
That's really good. And tell me again, you do voiceover, right? Jessica,
Yes,
do you do?
yeah.
Yeah. So have you used a character like that in any of your stuff?
No, actually, she's new. I've never,
Okay.
no.
Well, keep honing her because she's great.
It.
She's great. And I love the way you were using your hands.
Okay. Cool,
So,
thanks.
Trixie. Okay, so my little girl, tell us about yourself and your animals. This little girl has animals.
In a voice?
Yes, of course. In the voice.
I have a raccoon and I have a possum and some feral kitties, and we have wonderful time every day.
Okay, now I'm going to stop you because what's happening is you're kind of railroading through that. You're a little girl, honey, and maybe you're a shy little girl, but where you find your happiness is with your animals. Okay, so Trixie, honey, would you tell me a little bit about your animals? Because I know each animal is going to be a little different. You're going to have a little different feeling towards them. So would you do that for me, please?
Oh, now I'm all nervous. You got me on the spot.
No.
Okay.
No. You're this little girl, sweetie. You're this little girl. You've got the voice. Go ahead.
I have a little raccoon that comes and visits me every night, and we have a wonderful time just eating and playing, and he just
Now I kind of ran out of words to say, and I'm
But you know
trying
what?
to not sound so nasal.
Yeah, but it works.
It did.
Oh,
work.
it works? Okay.
Oh yeah, it works. The biggest note I have to give to you is take your time to see her with the raccoons. What happens is when you work from within, once you find a placement and you kind of have an idea of a voice, you start working from within. That's the mind magic part, I call. Because I teach breath control and how to use the breath. And that also includes, how to laugh and how to cry, because that's all breath. Then I teach articulation, giving some exercises and realizing how we form words, and that leads into placement. Okay. And the last part, though, is mind magic. That is how we take what we can see here, use it as a character, becoming the character, and reaching out to an audience. So you have the beginnings of a character here. Now, I really don't know your background. Are you an actor too, or?
No, I have gotten into cartoons. I do a lot of editing and advertising promotion for Amazon Prime Video, and I currently have a cartoon that's from Russia. It's called Kitty Cats, and it's a educational cartoon for children and I met them last year, and I'm anticipating on doing more work with them. And like I mentioned to Brian, I'm trying to get into more cartoon stuff, and now with the voiceovers, that sounds really great too. I've always just liked everything about animation and cartoons. It wouldn't be, I wouldn't mind practicing. I know I need a lot of practice, and now
Well,
it's going to be something I'll
But
do.
everybody needs a lot of practice. This stuff, first of all, a lot of this came to me just naturally as a kid, but I studied with Dawes Butler. I then took that course not only at LACC, but I then went on and studied at a private academy. So, a lot of it's just honing and then feeling comfortable within your skin. Not the man who's doing Mickey Mouse now, but Russi Taylor, who did Minnie Mouse, was married to Mickey Mouse, Wayne, for many years. But how Wayne got that job was he was an editor and had heard that voice so often, and he was a natural actor and ended up doing Mickey for 25, 30 years.
Huh.
Wow.
So you never know. You have a lot of chance to listen as an editor, and you can hear when people's rhythm, when they're picking up somebody else's rhythm, or there's not enough variation. That's one of the things that is so important is you have 3 lines as a character sometimes at an audition. You've got to make that character come to life and not sound the same in those 3 lines. Dawes used to say, if you can't act in a 30-second commercial, maybe you can't act. Which
That's a great,
yeah.
well, I mean, I think he was trying to say is you have to grab whatever that line is, even if it's 1 line, and create some sort of character to go with it. So now, Brian, let me hear your dentist.
Excited.
I don't have one. I don't have a dentist.
Okay, well, that's your homework, sir. That's
Okay.
your homework.
All right.
By the way, I normally charge for this, okay?
I know you do.
I'm fortunate enough, everyone I have worked with doing that has been really talented in some way, whether they go on or not. But this last time, there was a gal who she's wanted to do voiceover her whole life, but got married and had 2 children and became a personal chef to earn a living. She's married to a musician. So she decided, now that her kids are, old enough, that she wanted to really try her hand at this. And so she signed up for a class, and I was really impressed with her. I would throw this at her and she would come up with these characters that were really good and really varied. So now she's taking a class every 2 weeks, because to do that with the way I teach, it's really about giving you information, you absorbing that information and then moving on. It's not like being with a therapist for years. Just joking. A good therapist, by the way, shouldn't do that either. But it's very exciting because I'm having a chance to really work with her over a period of time. And hopefully she'll make a tape. But one of the things I suggested to her, I would suggest it to you too, Jessica. This might be fun for you. And and Trixie, if you decide to do this, there are so many comedy clubs with open mics now. And you can even do this on Zoom. What I told her is find out about some clubs that you can go to an open mic on, because you can hone your characters in little vignettes, or even get to the point where you're talking back and forth. And that's a great way to hone your characters and to get ready to do a demo tape. So I'm going to work with her on doing that.
Yeah, also something that someone has suggested, I know has been pretty successful with several improvisers that I'd worked with in New York, is they come up with their characters with wigs. They just see a wig and they put it on, and then they just see what comes out, how it inspires them, where it takes them. And sometimes it's great and sometimes not so much. But I think I would like to do that too, if I could just, not like you're going into any yard sales anytime soon, but
that's a great idea.
If there are things, just to acquire some cheap wigs and see what happens.
You could even do some of those with yarn, where you could make them.
Yeah.
Okay. Or like if you have like old faux fur, just some stuff, or even just, that's a great idea, because that is a way to do a quick visual for doing an open mic. Oh,
also, I just had that thought when you said yarn or something. My mother loves hats. She has so many hats, and
Brilliant.
I'm not a hat person. And I thought, well, shoot, I should just go up to her stash and just start playing with it in her hat closet.
Absolutely.
See what happens.
Absolutely. That's a brilliant, brilliant idea.
Yeah. Maybe
Mona,
I'll try that.
how can the audience reach out to find out where you teach in your classes?
Oh, go to my website, monamarshall.net. And I'm also on Instagram, Mona Marshall Voices.
Did you ever think that you were going to be on South Park so long? It's amazing that they've been out there so long. And The Simpsons. Good for you guys, both of you, you know?
Yeah, no, that's been a great run for Nancy.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, Nancy was one of Dawes's proteges.
I remember, I haven't seen her in about 10 years, but I remember the last time we got together to a box party.
I think the last time I saw her was about 18 months ago. We, Diane Michelle put together a night in tribute to Dawes Butler at the theater they have in Santa Monica. Pardon me.
I have a little frog came into me.
Froggy in your throat.
But it was great. I was glad to see that she came. We each shared about how we started with Dawes and how important he was in our career. And then I got a whole bunch of, I'm looking at, I have a whole file of material that he used to write for us. Because he'd write material, we'd go around the room and do it in different ways.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's more than one way to do anything.
And you were saying right before Jessica was coming on that Trey is always, Trey and Matt are still doing everything down to the last minute as usual still?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's mostly Trey, though. But one of the reasons they knew they could set up the recording system because I think Matt's been in New York. Matt lives in New York now. So he would come in, just like a lot of the animators don't live here anymore. So they would come in for the 3 months that they were needed here. But now they had to figure out how to do everything remotely. So I think the recording was probably the least of the problem. I would imagine the most difficult thing would be, how are you looking at the backgrounds and looking at the sync and looking at the animation? That I think would be very difficult. But they did it. It took them longer. Obviously, they can't do it all in a week, but it's amazing. Just amazing. So,
Jessica,
I did not have any idea it would be. Who knew? I mean, shows don't run that long.
No.
Apparently. I'm just grateful. Listen, I'm grateful that I've been able to do the Digimon movies because, that character originated, he was about 10 years old in the 90s. And so I've gotten several years older. He's aged maybe 4. So only in voiceover.
Exactly.
Although that's not true either. I do the American speaking voice for Chavo, who is an icon in the Spanish speaking community. He's just he's this funny little guy who lives on the street. And the characters in that show are just outrageous. But that started as live action. And the man who did Chavo is beloved. But he started probably doing that character when he was maybe late teens, early 20s. And he went on to do that character for years, like maybe into his 40s, and then did the voice for animation. So that had to run on the air probably 25, 30 years. And that's live action. Wow. An actual sitcom. So that was a real honor to do that. It's a very funny character.
Yes, you get the last question. We got about 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay.
You want me to ask it? Yes.
I've been wondering about Amphibia. Please tell me about that, how that came to be. I didn't, until I was researching and seeing all of your millions of credits that you have, I had no idea that this was one of them. So I'm very curious about that Amphibia.
First of all, I've only seen pieces of it. I'm still trying to find out where it's showing, and I didn't know it had been on the air. It's very funny because the week that South Park came out, you all saw the episode, right? Right. So that it was can't remember the character, the name of the character, the guy that grows the weed.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
So he and Mickey, right? They went to Asia or China and got themselves into trouble, right? That
Yep.
week I had worked on pickup lines for Amphibia and South Park. So I thought, oh, isn't that an odd thing? Amphibia is a deliciously wonderful children's show.
And I get to play Sylvia, and at first you're not sure if she's really nice or not, but then it turns out that she's got this really warm heart of gold, and she kind of gets people together. I'm hoping that I can come back.
The producers and writers on that were just great. And the engineer, they did such a good job with how the studio was made safe, because I wanted to do those pickup lines. And I was escorted in by the two women who were running the front office, didn't touch anything, doors were opened. I have my own headset. Woo-hoo-hoo. I just had to plug it in, and that was it. My director was on a Zoom, and it was fabulous. So the studios have really just bent over backwards to make it safe for all of us. I really appreciate that. But then, the colors are great. The characters are so cute. So,
And it's funny. It made me laugh a lot.
I love the dancing. I love when Sylvia dances. That's what I mean. Anime, you're looking at a picture. When you're doing original animation, you've got to see the words. They can describe what's happening, but you're looking at lines, and I have nobody to play off of. So I've got to sort of intuit in the character how to react, how to read the lines. Right. So it's very exciting. I love it. I can't even.
Yeah. You're essentially painting a picture. You're painting a picture with your words,
Mind magic.
and you're painting that picture for someone else. That's how you have to establish it.
Yeah.
So Mona, with that, we got to end this. Give your website one more time and your future project coming up again you're working on.
Yes, monamarshall.net. We are looking to sell our adult animated show, Adventures of Puss and Dick, A Survivor's Guide to Relationship. It's funny and outrageous and actually has some meaning. And if you know anybody at Netflix or Amazon or whatnot, get in touch with me. I would be happy to pitch it to them. Thank you for letting me be here. You guys are great.
Thank you for being with us again, Mona. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah.
Same at y'all. It's nice to meet you, Trixie. I want to be able to hear you next time. Okay, guys.
And Jess, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
I want to thank everybody for coming up. This is Movie Reviews and More. It's Brian Sebastian, Worldwide TV Network, WomenOnTV.tv, and ITU 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee. And with smiles, we got to leave with smiles. So if you see someone without a smile, we have to give them one of Mona's smiles because the world needs it, right?